Hey kids, Top from Big Top Outdoors. Today we're back in the garage. We're going to do a cutting board for a fundraiser. Every year my wife takes the young women at church, ages 11 turning 12 up to 18, out camping every year. And every year they do a fundraiser. One of the things, I've submitted things in the past. This year I'm going to do a cutting board. So first thing you gotta do when you're deciding on a cutting board is the wood that you're gonna use. So I'm gonna use sapele. For those that have not seen my other videos, sapele is known as the African mahogany. It's a really dense hard wood, but looks beautiful when it's all cleaned up and stained. And I'm gonna pair that with a contrasting white maple. First thing I'm gonna do is rip them down in half so that it'll be 3/4 of an inch. And then I'll do the same to this board, 3/4 of an inch. And then what we'll do is we'll plane the outsides, get everything smoothed, and then we'll cut them and then we'll glue it all up. So we're gonna do multiple cuts because when you're doing a cutting board, you want the end grain. These are the side grains. We want the end grain that's on the end here. So what we'll do is we'll glue them up, in theory, a lot like this, and then we'll cut them into sections of like 1.5 inches, and then we'll turn them on their side so the end grain is up. So we'll proceed to that. So before we begin, we always want to use safety. So I'm going to use some ear protection, and I'm also going to use these sweet nerd goggles that'll protect my eyes. The other thing I want to recommend too is I'm using this Feather Pro. So what this will do is allow the wood to go this direction without kicking back on me. These allow the wood to go this way but not go back the other direction. So it prevents kickback towards me. Now that I've ripped them long ways, turn them on their side, and we glue them up like this. And what we'll do is we'll cut them. I'll do a measurement of every 1.5 inches until I get to the desired length that I want. Then, once we do is we cut here, and we take this section, we slide it down. We cut here, take this section, slide it down. My planer can go up 13 inches wide, so obviously I gotta stay within that. So once they're glued up, then we'll plane them when everything's dried so that they're all the same thickness all the way through. For now, we're just worried about making sure I get the measurements right, cutting this way, because again, what we're gonna do is when we have the pattern done, we're gonna take cuts about 1.5 inches, we'll turn it on its side and we'll turn it up so that it'll be a lot of little cuts all the way through. I did some mental math and figured out I need to cut it at 41 inches and then another 41 inches down, and I'll take the second half, put it over here, and then I'll glue it all up so that it's one pattern. So this half here will get cut and placed in here. So now let's cut these. So I made this crosscut sled that will allow me to make perfectly straight cuts. If I line up the 41 inches here and make a cut, this will be completely perpendicular, or at least fairly close to it. So now we need to make sure that the edges here are completely flush and flat. So we're going to do the same on both sides of this. We'll run it through and turn it over. So we'll send it through the planer. We'll get it nice and smooth on one side. We'll flip it over nice and smooth on the other side. And we'll repeat 4 times for these, 4 times for these. Now we need to do the same thing with the sapele. now it's time to glue them up. I have these nice handy dandy clamps. So essentially what I do is I'll put glue on the end of all of these that are facing up. Then I'll rotate them, push them over, and we'll clamp the crap out of them. By the time we're done, we'll leave these for 2 hours and we'll come back and we'll cut it this way and then turn them on its end. So for now, I don't care that this has saw burns because we're going to be planing it one more time when we're done. So I'm not as concerned about that. Let's get to gluing. Now we just clamp the crap out of it. Okay, it's been 2 hours. The glue has dried. I'll scrape off what's here. We'll take it over to the planer. When it's done getting planed, then we will take it to the table saw and we'll begin cutting it this direction to get it ready for the cutting board. And one more glue up. I apologize, I had set up the camera but forgot to hit record when I planed it. So this is what it looks like after it's been planed. It's all now one solid piece. So now what we're gonna do is cut them this direction in strips that are about 5/8. And then what we'll do is we'll take them and turn them on their sides so that the end grain here on the end is up. And that's what you want for a cutting board. Plus we'll alternate the patterns as they go through to switch things up. So now we go to cutting horizontally. Now I just set up a stop block here so that as I cut this, it is in the right length. So as I pull it back, it will cut in strips that are 5/8. Now we're going to set up the pattern to make the cutting board. Alright, wrong way. So roughly speaking, it'll be 11 inches by 12 3/8. That's how our pattern will end up, because right now you can see there's rough, so it means it won't go flat and smooth. So you either have to sand them all or run them through the planer real quick. And I'm all for going through the planer. Let's do that. Now it's time to glue them up. I made 2 out of the one piece that I have. So I'll only show you gluing up one of them, and then I will leave them overnight to make sure that they're all solid. And then the next day I'll plane the top. So you'll notice there's a few burn marks from the blade because I pulled them out too soon or I ran it forward and back. By setting it through the planer again, everything will be completely smooth and flat, and then it'll get rid of the burn marks. All right, now that they're glued up, we'll leave them in the house. It's temperature's supposed to drop tonight. You want them above 45 degrees to dry the best. Typically the hotter the better. Taking them into the house and actually put them next to the air vent so that the heater can help dry them. All right, we're back. It's the next day. You can see everything is dried. I haven't planed these yet. So the next step is to run these through the planer, get everything level everything the same thickness all the way through, top and bottom, and then we'll come back and then we'll cut everything so that all the edges are squared. We'll do that to both of these, and then after that we'll sand. So we'll go to that point. So the next step, now that these are squared off, they're all smooth and flat, is to sand them to make sure. And I don't know if you noticed this, but the color, if I turn it, now the color seems different. It's because of the end grain. If I turn it, the colors change. Now that they're flat and they're squared, we're gonna go ahead and add a round over all the way around these, and then we're gonna sand them until they're smooth, and we'll go to that point. Next thing we're gonna do is wipe them down. I've got just a rag here. I'm gonna dip it in water. We'll wipe them down, let them get wet. We'll wipe off, and it'll raise the grain. And then I use painter's pyramids to let them dry on. And I come back in about 10-20 minutes and they're dry, and we sand them one more time. And this kind of gives you an idea when you get them wet of how cool they'll look with the grain. We want to get them wet, but we don't want to soak it. I think I got the other side a little too wet. And that's all we need for now, but you can see the colors change. It becomes quite cool. All right, now that they've had time to dry, we're gonna go ahead and sand them now that the grain is raised. Like if I run my hand over it, doesn't feel as smooth as when I just sand it. So we're gonna do it again. We'll put it back up there, then we'll wipe them down. Next, we're gonna wipe them down, and then we're going to apply some of this walrus oil. This is cutting board oil. You can get this off of Amazon. Great stuff. We'll leave it for 24 hours, then we'll come back and we'll add the wax. So first thing we're gonna do is wipe them down. That's just to get any excess dust off of it. Want to make sure you've got just a coat of the oil, and then we'll come back in 24 hours and then we'll wipe off any excess oil and then we'll wax them. So the cutting boards are oiled. So today we planed them, flattened them, squared them off, rounded the edges, sanded them, and then oiled them. We leave them for 24 hours. Then we come back tomorrow, we wipe off any excess oil, and then we wax them and leave them for another 24 hours. Okay, we're back. It's been about 4 days now. At this point, we're gonna wipe off all the excess oil, then we're gonna add the cutting board wax, which will make it food safe. We'll go to that point. Now that they've had all the excess oil wiped off, now we're gonna add the walrus oil wood wax for cutting boards. You can find this on Amazon. The link is in the description box below. Just gonna use this rag here. Hey kids, we're back. It's been another 24 hours. The wax has had time to set in. With this last bit, we're gonna take this rag and we're gonna wipe off any excess wax, and we're in the final stretch. This will finish them off, and the wax is what makes them food safe. So now they're done. I've wiped off the excess wax. They've been oiled, they've been waxed, they've had time for both to set in. Now they are food safe. So at this point, because they're food safe, I will wrap them in saran wrap to make sure that they're still food safe for the winners of the auction. Hey kids, hope you enjoyed that. Something a little bit outside the norm. For me, it's still getting outside. Got out off the couch, got outside, and spent some time making some cutting boards. So again, these are for an auction. So it was really good for me to practice skills. I haven't done this pattern before, and it just happened to be a pattern that worked with the wood that I had. For that matter, cutting the boards, shaping them doesn't take long at all. What takes long is waiting for the glue to dry, cutting it, glue to dry again, then planing it, rounding it, sanding it, wiping it all off, raising the grain, sanding it again, doing the oil, waiting for the oil, doing the wax, waiting for the wax, and then you're done. So the time it takes, it actually is more annoying for me to pull all my gear out of the garage to get it all set up. But again, I enjoy this kind of stuff. If you want to just get outside, it's worth doing. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun for me, and hopefully it brings some joy to the auction winners. So if you enjoy this video, like, subscribe, share. Occasionally I do woodworking, but for the most part, it's outdoor adventures and time with the family. So talk to you soon. Have a good one. Thanks. Bye. I also had somebody ask the question, where do I store all my woodworking equipment when obviously I'm not using it? I am fortunate enough to have a 3-car garage, and so I store all of this off in the 3rd bay with other woodworking stuff, tools, piles of wood, etc. Forgive, I've got other stuff from other projects and stuff in the way, so I'll pull it out and show you how I use it. My table saw goes to the front. I'm fortunate enough to have a Powermatic table saw that I was able to pick up at a garage sale. Next I have a DeWalt 365 planer, which is a phenomenal device. You've seen me use this before. And I build everything locking casters so that I can move things around and wheel them back and forth. Next I have a Grizzly bandsaw, which helps me do some cross cuts. Mobile workbench. These are wood for a different project. So this allows me to roll everything from out of that corner out into the various parts of my garage to be able to use these for different projects. One of the best investments I made was these lights additions in my garage. As you can see, the light is on in my garage, the sun is out, but it still casts a shadow in here depending on how I'm working. I put some zip ties through the holes in my garage door, and I hang them depending on how I'm working. They're extremely helpful, so I'll put a link to them in the description box below.